welcome back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show right here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
And remember, our goal is always to guide you to personal and financial wealth.
All right, well, welcome back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show this Saturday. I want you to join us at donandgino.com and look at the live streaming button because our studio just got a lot better looking with Cindy Russon in our office here.
Hello.
Skyline Home Loans. She's joining us here so that we could talk a little bit more about Romeo Echo Real Estate, a new real estate company in the Westlake area and soon to expand here into Santa Clarita, right?
Absolutely. Correct, yes.
All right, so before the break, we were talking a little bit about why they started this company and how they were dedicated to serving veterans in one of the most important investments of their life, which is investing in a real estate transaction.
Yes.
And unfortunately, our industry, Cindy, lending, real estate, they really haven't, I'm going to say it, they neglected the veterans for many, many, many years because they felt like they had bad loans, they had bad credit, they didn't have any down payment. So they kind of had the black eye and the stigma. And I think today, you know, first of all, we have more veterans than ever, right? Because we've had, I don't know, 25 years of war or something like that.
And during that plus up when they were recruiting up to 200 plus thousand, definitely.
Yeah, so we definitely have a lot of veterans, and, you know, it's a different veteran, right? It's a different veteran than the ones that came back from Vietnam. It's a more educated veteran. It's part of our culture today. I don't know what the numbers are. You guys probably know more, but I know that here in Santa Clarita, we have a very heavy veteran community.
Thousands.
Thousands.
In the thousands.
Yeah, and so I think we see more of it here in Santa Clarita. We're more accustomed to it, but you guys work in other areas. Do you feel it's the same in other areas?
It is, definitely. Even up north in the Antelope Valley, you're huge area full of veterans.
Yeah, I used to hang out a lot over by Edwards Air Force Base because I grew up racing cars, so I'd be at Willow Springs all the time. Even as a kid, exposed to it, and it was just so cool to see I remember the stealth bomber fly over us. I was like, wow, that was awesome.
Awesome.
So let's talk a little bit about the loan myths, because we left with that, right? We talked a little bit about what some of those loan myths were, and you guys wanted to talk
definitely.
about, as agents,
Yeah.
what do you really see? I mean, now you're not always a buyer's agent. Sometimes you're a listing agent, and you got to see what's coming at you, and you have fiduciary responsibility to your seller.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I feel like I almost jump on the other side because I'm like, I can't believe you're representing a veteran this way.
Right.
I mean, they're missing the why of why veterans are so inclined on accepting other veterans' offers, or even people love veterans. They want to know about their story. They want to hear who they are. Do they have a family? Where they came from? And people are just sending me offers when I'm a listing agent with papers flying here and
just
there.
kind of half-assed.
There's no cover letters on there. There's not telling them about their story, about who they are, and I feel like that's a big flag just in the beginning part of it. You know, besides not knowing fully how to physically do, I feel like there's a big problem when someone says, "Yeah, I can do VA. Let me just talk to my manager to help me out on how to do VA."
That's scary.
And I think that someone should just like in the military, you don't just go to war and say, you know what, I'll get over to war, and then I'm sure they're going to tell me how to do things.
No.
You know, I want to be an expert. That's why you train before you go there. And that's the one thing with our company is we want anybody who represents our brand is going to be trained and they're going to be qualified. And I put my stamp on that, and I make sure, because we have people that are interviewing with our company right now, and unfortunately, I'm just not seeing the type of person that we want on our team. I'm not just going to have some large brokerage. I want people that are in it for the right reason, genuine, and who want to legitimately master helping out veterans and, you know, serving those who serve. So
that's really a nice story, right? Because that kind of relates to what Don and I were building here when we first started too. We're picky. We're still picky, and we don't bring people on just for numbers. It's mostly for culture. I mean, realistically, and Cindy, you joined us just not too long ago, and it's because we felt like, okay, she fits culturally, and that's super important for us. So I'm glad to see you guys.
Because you're dealing with the biggest transaction of someone's life, so you really need to be genuine and really be able to look out for them to really make a difference.
That's why I left my other company also and came over here, is because I was looking for that culture. I was looking for that support. I can be the best lender and the best personal person to someone and take good care of them, but if I don't have a company behind me supporting me and underwriting and processing and everything else, I'm not as good as the next person.
Definitely.
So tell me though,
here, I got that.
So tell me though, thank you. So tell me, because I know you guys have had some wins together. You were talking a little bit about it offline. So Tell me a story about some veteran that you helped that maybe somebody else told them they couldn't be helped, because that's what happens in our industry a lot.
Yeah.
I think one of the ones that we had was like Roy, and it kind of highlights that stigma between appraisal. So like one of the biggest stigmas is like VA appraisals come in low. Well, this particular home we actually were representing the buyer on, it was already in escrow. With the FHA offer, it fell back out. We ended up acquiring it for our buyer, and the VA appraisal came in a little low. But one of the great things about a VA appraisal is you have a period called Tidewater.
Beautiful.
Where you have 72 hours to assess comps, just do research and generate actual data to give to the actual appraiser in the event that the appraiser misses it. And then the appraisal can be reassessed so it's accurate. And that is huge. And most people, they don't know that.
Yeah, it actually helps everybody in the process, right? So Tidewater is actually, I've proposed 100 times, like, why can't we do this on conventional loans? It gives you a rebuttal period. Now, I'm also going to state that it's sad, because the real reason that we need it is because the listing agent wasn't prepared at the time of the original appraisal, and they just hoped that it would come in.
Sure.
And so now that it didn't come in, they've got a problem and they want to figure it out, versus Tidewater sends you an email, they say, hey, you've got an opportunity to fix this. So it actually creates a lot less anxiety. When you get the Tidewater email, you're like, okay, I'll go do a little homework and put together my best foot forward, versus if you have a conventional loan, nobody knows until wham, you're hit with this low number, and it's super shocking.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
and speaking of appraisers, one of the things that we do, whether we're representing the buyer or the seller, is we're actually present for appraisals.
Awesome.
So because I don't have to be there for the appraisal, the listing agent should be, but I'm always there with comparables to make sure that we back it up. And the one thing is, I also never want to put anyone into something that's not worth it.
Right.
So, but we wouldn't be putting an offer on something if I felt like it wasn't worth it.
You know what's interesting about that is the true definition of value is what a seller's willing to sell for and a buyer's willing to buy the item for, right? That's supply and demand at its best.
Sure.
Yeah,
And so we have a hard time as a lending industry, because we've got to evaluate the collateral as cold, hard facts, and sometimes buyers and sellers can be emotional. So the idea of the appraiser coming in is to take the emotion out of it and look at the cold, hard facts. However, nobody knows better than a buyer's agent whether this house is right for this buyer or not, because they've already seen everything else on the market. Particularly now, there was only 3 houses, and this is the best one.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
So
Totally.
in a no inventory situation with this VA stigma, you're still getting offers accepted?
Definitely. It's all about what Adam had talked about earlier, is highlighting the veteran, highlighting the process, letting them know, hey, we do this full time. We master our craft as far as the VA system, the home buying process. We do this. We served over 50 families last year, and we know what we're doing. And just highlighting the veteran that we're going to get the job done for them, because it's just what we do.
So Cindy, tell me a little bit about this, because I know for a fact that there's some other myths, right? People think, well, I don't need a 100% loan. I have a down payment. I'm a veteran with a down payment. Why am I going to take a VA loan? Well, you're going to take a VA loan because usually, depending on the market, sometimes this changes, but usually a VA loan typically has a lower interest rate than the same conventional loan for the same FICO.
Yes.
So, and then we can talk a little bit about the funding fee, because if the funding fee, some veterans don't have to pay a funding fee.
Yes.
Right? They can get their funding fee waived. So now you're talking about a reduced interest loan at a high loan to value, very flexible on credit score, and doesn't require a down payment. We think it's one of the best loans on the planet.
It is.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Especially when we can get the funding fee waived, right?
Yeah.
So we don't have time for that, but I wanted to tee that up a little bit, because I know
Yeah.
that you guys work very hard to make sure that those that are entitled to getting their funding fee waived get it waived, because not everybody has gone through the process that they should to get what they're entitled to.
Absolutely.
And we've also talked about the government doesn't really make it easy for you.
And they don't. Okay, so I know we don't have time for this, but this is so huge. I can talk about for like 2 hours on this, but I'll just break it down.
We'll break it down to like 50 seconds.
50 seconds. Okay, a veteran. The first thing I say is, so what's your rating, brother? And they say, what's a rating? That thing that really pisses me off, because the rating is the VA benefits, right? So a lot of times, most of the time when you're getting out of, even myself when I got out, I didn't even know what a VA rating was. I had to hear about it from a friend of a friend, and we call it in the Marine Corps world Lance Corporal Underground, because I had to hear it from someone else. And the thing is, it really upsets me because I said, okay, well, did you go overseas? Have you done any tours? I'm like, yeah. I had a guy that did 6 tours. He was Special Forces for Marine Corps, Force Recon. And he was broken, and he didn't have any rating whatsoever. He didn't even know what it was. And that's unacceptable. So I was able to get him his rating. Every vet who comes and speaks to us, we always make sure that they're getting forwarded to the best person to get their rating. We're getting their benefits paid, and that's the one thing, because it goes hand in hand with the funding fee, because if you're 10% or more, funding fee is waived.
Just
Okay,
taking
so-
care of
Awesome.
them. Just
So we're
giving
going to
value.
stop there,
Extra
but we're
care.
going to continue down this road because I could see that you provide a service more than just real estate, and that's really important to us. So stick around, particularly if you're a veteran and you don't know your rating. We're going to get a little more into that on the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show.
Awesome.